Welcome to Start Before You're Ready, the podcast that proves that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin your journey towards better health and happiness. I'm your host, Kelly Young. Remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's always worth taking. Hey guys, it's Kelly, and I am back with another episode of Start Before You're Ready. Today's guest is what we like to call a boomerang. That is somebody that started off with us, left for a little while, and then came back. And I can't tell you how happy I am that Lynn Hayden, our guest today, is back with KBC, because she is one of the people that when she wasn't with us, I thought about often. And it was hard for me to think of her as not being part of the KBC community because she was such a big, important part of it for so long. Coming back, I think she's better than ever. I could tell you so many stories about Lynn. I'm going to start with one because she is an original boot camper and she was part of the original winter challenge. This challenge was much smaller than the challenges that I run now. And nobody really knew what they were doing, including me, because it was our first one and nobody really knew what to expect. And I can tell you that I did not expect Lynn Hayden and Team Chloe to win the winter challenge. And they won because they're competitive and they were very team minded. When I really thought about the group of women that had come together, all of them were very team minded. And I really think it was just the energy between them more so than any individual effort, which to me is the definition of who should win the team challenge. So that's just a fun Lynn story. We are going to share lots more stories. I can't wait to talk about her incredible transformation recently. And I also can't wait for her to give you some perspective on just real life, becoming a healthier version of yourself. I think she's such a beautiful example of that. So Lynn, let you introduce yourself to the KBC community and hopefully beyond. Hopefully we got some new listeners. Last week's podcast was super popular. So I'm hoping we have some new listeners this week.
Oh, great. Thank you, Kelly. Hi, everyone. So yes, I am a boomerang. I feel like I should come to this podcast with a walk-up song. Don't call it a comeback.
I love it. I love it.
I'm definitely boomeranging, but I am so happy to be back. Like Kelly said, I started boot camp in the original members in 2009. I was with Kelly's boot camp for probably 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
And then I left for longer than I actually thought, but I did look at my dates and I think I've been gone for 6 to 7 years, which is crazy to me because it didn't seem that long. Time just goes so fast.
Time goes so fast.
So I started back I came back in the fall of last year and I'm not stopping. I'm not going to be another boomerang.
Yeah.
I am here for life because I'm so happy.
Tell a little bit, Lynn, about why you originally stopped.
I originally stopped. I was going through some health conditions, medical conditions. I don't know how much you want me to go into that, but I can share a little bit. I was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease and then an autoimmune disease of the thyroid, which is Hashimoto's. They think the two are kind of connected because there are studies of untreated Lyme disease triggering Hashimoto's.
Yeah.
So I just went through years of not being diagnosed with these conditions, having to advocate for myself, which could probably be a whole nother podcast.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out what was going on with me. A lot of inflammation, a lot of pain, a lot of just being tired, worn out, anxious, which is not my normal personality at all. And I think it just all kind of, I was overwhelmed. And then once I was diagnosed, which I was still with KBC, I just had to go through a lot of, learning in terms of what this meant, the medicines I was on, that I'm no longer on, but just trying to manage all that. So then I left. And I think because COVID hit, not a reason to leave at all, but I worked from home. I wasn't really out very much. So I just kind of hibernated, which was not very good. So
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one. I think there's a lot of people that got off of their routine and then COVID, and then it's hard to get back on. I really commend you for coming back because after that long, it's easy to say, I can't do this anymore. And you were hesitant when you came back. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Yes, because I had lost a bunch of weight. I was in great shape. And then when I was gone, I gained weight. I was no longer in good shape. I was doing things and I was eating healthy-ish foods, but not necessarily following a healthy diet, which I know a lot more just from being back, which we'll talk about. But it was intimidating to come back because I knew where I had been and I know what I was capable of, but I just didn't feel like I could do it right away. But you've said so many times on this podcast, especially Debbie last week, that KBC is so welcoming. So it was, although I was hesitant, it lasted maybe 5 minutes because once I walked through that door and met with you for the first time, came to my first class, all that hesitation was gone. It was just like, oh, thank goodness I came back because I needed
what was the impetus to get you to walk through the door?
There was 3 things, I would say. The first thing was our daughter, Riley, is in physical therapy school, getting her doctorate degree to be a physical therapist. And this time last year, she was going through her interview process to be accepted to the school. And although I wasn't in the interviews with her, obviously, I didn't hear what she talked about, but I overheard her tell our family or someone in my family what types of questions they asked her. And one of the main questions, which is a pretty obvious one, is they asked her why she wanted to be a physical therapist. And her answer, in explaining it to our family member that I overheard, she said, well, I grew up in this really fit family where working out and nutrition was a part of my whole life. And I am very into activity and workouts. And I want to make sure that I can help people who need assistance with doing all that. So when she said that, it was a year ago and I hadn't been back to KBC yet. It was just a big slap in my face because I was like, wow, that's what she grew up with. That's what both my kids, Patrick too, they came to boot camp every week with Rich and I.
Yeah.
I would do 7 o'clock class. Rich would bring them in the car and then he would get out of the car. I would get in the car and I would bring them home. So their life, their whole childhood was KBC. And then when they kind of graduated high school was around the same time that I stopped. So that was the first reason. Hearing her say that, I was like, I need to get back to being who she grew up with. It just wasn't the same person. The second thing was you actually had sent me, and I don't even know if you remember this, you sent me something through Instagram and it was one of your clips and it was a strength class and you tagged me in it. You said, Lynn, I really think you would enjoy our strength classes at Energy because I had never been to Energy because I walked right when it was basically opening. So that was the second thing. And then the third thing, because I have Hashimoto's, I have to go see an endocrinologist every year and to get thyroid medicine. And I had gone a year ago this month. And when I went, she weighed me and of course commented on my weight, which was fair. And it was a new doctor to me. I'd never been to her because my former endocrinologist retired. And she started talking about my weight and immediately wanted to put me on Wegovy, which I'm not discounting. I'm not saying that that's not good for certain people. That was not what I wanted to do. So when she said that, I immediately was like, no. And then she went further into this discussion and said that because I wasn't a certain overweight, like I wasn't heavy enough for insurance to cover the weight loss medicine, that if I wanted it, I would have to pay like $300, $400 a month. And that was definitely another deal breaker. But for me personally, I did not want to be on a medicine to lose weight. So again, other people need to do that. I'm not saying that's not the wrong thing to do. But for me, so that was the third thing. So I left there saying, I really need to. So that was April. It took me till September, the end of September to get back to, but I did it. But actually between April and the start of coming back, I did lose a little bit of weight just on my own. But it was validation that I could not do it on my own. I needed classes to do this.
But you were, so she's talking about Rich, and Rich is her husband, and Rich was also an original boot camper. We have lots of Rich Hayden stories. I probably have to have him on to talk about the slosh pipes that he built us and some of the craziness that went on with the Haydens. But Rich was on a health journey. I know I would see him. I know he did, was it the 90 Days Hard or?
Yeah, Rich was always, I would say in our relationship, Rich was always the get out, like very mindful of running. He did a bunch of marathons, did just a bunch of, fitness was always important to him. I was the one who first did KBC and then he joined shortly thereafter.
Yeah. Usually it's the
Still
women that come
still trying to
first.
get him.
I know.
So-
Well, I know. I won't give out. He came back for a breast cancer workout last year, not last year, the year before. Okay. I really love that you shared, Lynn, about coming back, because I think that that is where a lot of people are. They get off of their routine and they have a really hard time getting back on, or they never established a routine. So let's kind of go back to September. You came back, and we met. I know we met one-on-one because you said, Kelly, I want to meet with you first. I want to go over the classes. You're very type A. You want to have the plan, and I appreciate that. What do you remember thinking after we met? What was like kind of your takeaway?
My biggest takeaway is your knowledge from a nutrition standpoint. And so much of what I learned from my many years at KBC was how I turned our food around dramatically for me personally, and then that passed on to my family. And everything about that was what I learned from KBC, especially in the contest. So when I came back in September and you said, what's your eating like? Are you eating healthy? And I would tell everyone, yes, I eat healthy. Like, I eat so clean. I definitely have changed that. I mean, I can tell you stories, the changes that I made. But what I didn't realize, and you quickly picked up and pointed out, is I was not consuming enough protein and I was not consuming enough fiber. And I was not. I definitely was not. But it was not, I wasn't even really thinking that because I ate healthy foods, clean foods. I thought I was doing everything right. But I was
in your
not.
defense, it's a lot. Sometimes we don't start. Sometimes, I mean, I wasn't doing it. I wasn't eating enough fiber at a period of my life too. It's like layers. Like, it can't, it's somebody has, let's call it like a high processed diet and is eating out a lot. And we're not even talking about fiber. We're talking about eating out less and eating more real food and just more general. But like, if you have somebody like you, you're kind of nailing it. You're really conscientious. You're making extra effort. You're preparing your food. You're eating your meals. It's just these little details that can make a huge difference. And Lynn, we can tell a lot of people. I mean, everyone I talk to, even if I know I'm never going to see them again, I'm not the type that's like, I'm going to keep all my information in my pocket and make you pay $1 million for it. I'm like, I want to help you right now. Like, just do this. Even if I never see you again, just do this. And they don't do it, or it takes them 10 years to do it. So the why is really important. The why is really important. And one of the things that I believe that I've come to stand by even more is you have to believe it. You have to believe that protein is going to make a difference. You have to believe that fiber is actually important. You have to believe that your workouts work. Until you do, you're not buying it. You're not buying it. So there's some trust there. We had some history. So there was some trust. You had a positive experience before. You've seen other people have success. I think the longevity of our program, we're obviously not a quick fix kind of program. It's more of like, okay, do you want this for life? But one thing that you said that stood out to me and that I think is really powerful is you knew you had to be back. You had to be back. You needed to be around the people that were doing what you wanted to do, right? That's huge.
I could put a Tabata workout on down in my basement. I have everything, but I won't. I need the group workouts, the interactions, because I won't necessarily do it for myself, although I am doing it for myself when I come to your classes.
Sure, you push yourself very hard.
I'll go downstairs and I'll be like, really good. Oh, 2 minutes. I'll
it's just different.
Yeah. It's so much more fun and motivating to be among other people because because again, it goes back to that team. Talking about being on the Winter Challenge. I think I just love being on a team. Always on anything.
Yeah. And I think that those are the people that do best in our program. I think that's fair to say. I want everybody, but I think team-minded people that feel like other people give them energy and help them, lift them up. I think those are the people that do the best. So tell me about when you came back in September, what was your workout program? How did you start?
So I looked, I signed up for 4 classes a week right away. And you said, wait. Like, you don't have to come to 4. Slow it down if you want, but I'm like, no, I'm committing to 4. I want 4. And I looked at the schedule, and what was so great, is so great, is that there's such a variety. And I was a little nervous about my knees because that definitely, I don't have great knees. Eventually I'll need to fix that. But I was concerned that if I got into this cycle of coming back to class and working out, my knee would start hurting, and then I would just compound that with coming back. But I did not experience that because on Mondays I did core. On Tuesdays I signed up for yoga. On Wednesday I came for strength. So I knew a lot of the classes I was signing up for wouldn't necessarily they were low impact, which was perfect for me. So I went to those, and then I kind of built up a little bit more, adding a little bit more of the cardio type workouts, like Complete Fit, where there is a little bit of running. I'm not experiencing any pain though. So there's just so many different classes I can choose from.
That's awesome. And I love your schedule. I love the way you thought that out. Like, I need the consistency. I need a routine, but I know I don't want to do something that's going to cause, and that's what I love about our program more than anything, is that you can start slow. I often suggest people start with just the classes that you named, because they're not easy workouts by any means, but you're just going to feel a little bit more comfortable, and they're a little bit more self-paced. You won't feel like, I feel that way with strength too. I feel like strength, you can go heavy and you can make it, or you can kind of ease your way into it. So that's really, really good, Lynn. I love that you said that. Just like talking about the running, some people will say, like, the idea of running is like, I can't run. You don't have to run. Like, there's nothing, you never have to run. I mean, people will do, and that's one of the reasons why I do put some jogging, running into some of my classes that have a cardio element, because I just want people to know that they still can do it. But like, a doctor told me, Kelly, you can run. Just don't go run 8 miles. He's like, little bits, my knees have been through a lot as well. And I can run. I just can't go for a long run, but I like to keep myself in the game of running, and just, short little intervals of running feel fine, but it's the overuse and the repetitive. So it is kind of nice for people that just want to kind of stay in the game of running, but don't want to do the damage, or they don't want to put themselves back out of the game. So you've been very smart about it. And we did the InBody when you came back. Right?
Yes.
We did the InBody, and I know I've talked about the InBody a lot on this podcast, but I always like to just remind people what the InBody is. The InBody is a machine that we have at the studio. Honestly, you can find an InBody all over the country. Like, there's some nutrition stores that have it for free. There's some rec centers that you can go pay $20 or $25 and do it. But the InBody it's a bioelectrical impedance. It's super simple. You can stand on it lightly clothed. Ideally, you're unfed and unexercised. That means you haven't exercised, you haven't eaten, and it sends a very light bioelectrical impedance through your body, and it gives us an idea of your body's composition. It's very important, especially for our population, which our population really is people that want to get stronger and hang on to their muscle. That's like what I hear more than anything. Of course, everyone says, I want to lose weight. I want to lose my belly. I want to, I hear that too. But more often than not, I hear people, I want to get stronger. I want to age well. I want to be able to pull myself up. I don't want to feel so weak. I don't want to feel. So that's why we put people on the InBody, because we want to be able to tell them, so we get them on in the beginning, and then we get them into their program, and then show them the numbers. Because sometimes the scale isn't going to show them as much as the InBody is. So let's talk about your InBody progress, because I think it's very impressive. And before we launch this podcast, I'm going to share a before and after, so you guys can get an idea of really the incredible transformation that Lynn has had. So Lynn, go ahead and just kind of give us some numbers as far as your most recent, which we got super excited about.
So most recent. So since the end of September, I've lost 20.5 pounds. I am, my body fat is 9.6% lower.
Wow. So almost 10%.
I wish I could say it was 10, but it's 9.6. So
I thought your weight was a little higher for some reason. I thought it was 25, but maybe I was looking.
I think it's 20.3, but
20.3. Okay. Yep. That's amazing. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care about your weight. I care about your body fat. We got your body fat into the healthy category is what I know. And it was not. It was away from the healthy, and now you're in the healthy.
Yes. And then skeletal muscle mass is up 1.8%, which that really, really, really I'm trying to focus on.
It's so big, guys. The skeletal muscle mass is really, really important. And it's very hard to gain muscle as you age. So if you think about the fact that Lynn lost over 20 pounds, but she gained muscle, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Because usually when you lose weight, you're going to lose a little bit of muscle. Of course, you're not going to lose just 20 pounds of fat. Unless you're Lynn, because she not only lost the fat, but she gained the muscle, which is why her body fat has decreased 10%, almost 10%. I don't want to exaggerate, almost 10% with a 20-pound weight loss because she gained muscle. So she's working with a totally different body now, not from an aesthetic standpoint, from a metabolic standpoint and from an age standpoint. When your body has that much fat on it and is carrying extra weight, it's hard. It's hard. You are now so much stronger and more metabolic. So are you hungry, Lynn? Are you eating? Are you?
I'm definitely. Funny is when I hear you say these numbers, and I'm like, it's an accomplishment and I'm so proud of it, but I don't feel like I did anything so crazy where it'd be like, oh, wow, look what she did. She did this. Like it felt normal to me. It wasn't like doing 2-a-day workouts. I wasn't doing starving myself I was being normal, which is kind of what makes me so excited about going forward because this is my normal life now. And it took a long time to be like this. Yes, I eat 3 great meals a day. I actually don't snack a lot, just because my meals are so filling and nutritious and just great. I don't feel like I need snacks. I drink a ton of water. I drink a gallon of water a day.
I think that's a game changer. I agree.
Because I feel like when I don't do the water, I don't know if it's the reason for me to get off track or if I get off track because I'm not, but if I'm not drinking a gallon of water a day, my numbers and everything just kind of goes out of whack.
I really love that. It's not extreme. You just dialed into certain habits that are part of you now. Drinking the water is part of you. If you get off of it, we've talked, you've said I'm a little off or I feel like I haven't been as focused on my protein. I think you had a month once where your numbers went in the wrong direction and you're like, yeah, it's because I'm not focused on my protein. And that's why I love the program that we do where you're getting on there every month because you start to believe it, right? Like you start to believe, oh yes, this really does. The protein really does matter. 1 month of not doing it and I've lost muscle.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm excited to do my InBody every month now because I want to see what my month was like based on what I ate, what I didn't eat, the workouts I did, didn't do. We've got some traveling stuff that the family has this month. I'm curious how that's going to an impact.
Yeah. But you know what? There's the confidence in knowing that like, hey, if I'm on vacation for a week and I'm off track and maybe I'm not drinking the gallon or I'm not eating the exact great meals that I'm eating at home, I can get right back on. Right? That's confidence. And that's earned. That's earned because you've created these habits that are part of your identity, that are things that you do, that you feel better when you do than when you don't do. I think that's really important. And one thing about you, Lynn, I'm going to kind of take over for a second. I was debating about talking about this in the introduction, but I think that now is a perfect time. You're very grateful and you appreciate everything. And you've always been like this since I've known you, but I noticed it even more this time around. And I do feel like the people that I see that are the most successful they're giving, and they're getting, right? So you're part of this community. I've seen you lift other people up. I know personally you have lifted me up. You're always the person to say a nice comment. I'll never, ever forget when I had my book launch and you were part of my book launch team, one of the first people to sign up for my book launch team, which meant the world to me. And when things got a little hairy and scattered and we had to do some last minute edits and I kept finding mistakes and I'm not good at that. And that's not really my forte. And you came to my house with a printed book. I hadn't even seen the book printed with little stickies. And you went through, I was literally blown away, Lynn. I was like, oh my, first of all, I was impressed with your intelligence, but I was also just blown away by the generosity of that And it just really I think that it's part of your success story. That's why I'm sharing it. I'm not sharing it. I think it's part of your success story. I think that for everybody, I think that like you've got to be lifting others up around you. And that's one thing that I've really noticed about this community. We've all grown and evolved. But what I've noticed more and more has become our culture and our identity is it's not about like tripping the person next to you so you can go faster than them. It's about lifting them up so they'll be faster, so you'll be faster. Faster is not the right example in this stage of our life. We're not worried about being faster, but we're trying to get better. So if we can lift the people up around us and make them better, we are the sum of the people that we're surrounding ourselves by. So it's really, really powerful. And I think that that's really why I mean, of course, losing 20 pounds, 10% body fat since September, getting back into a regular workout routine, being happy. I feel you're very happy now that you have this routine. I mean, you had shared with me the story about Riley and that made me emotional. I wanted you to share that. I'm really glad you did, because that's something that you created for your family all those years. And when your daughter shared, like, this is what my family taught me. This is how I grew up. You were like, wait a minute, I'm not doing that right now. And that was hard, right?
Definitely. But Kelly, you've said it so many times and you even just mentioned it. Now, your community is so rare. Like, I don't have another community like yours that I can compare it to, but it really is just everybody caring about everyone. And you feel that immediately. And I'm grateful because I'm part of that. I never want to, I know you have Zoom, and if I ever go anywhere, I will continue with Zoom, but it's just such a great feeling to be amongst, I mean, the trainers that you have, like, everyone's just so motivating. And, if you don't run, walk. It's totally fine. There's no modifications. There's no wrong in KBC. Like, it just feels so good and everyone's happy.
And I think like it's important to think in case, someone's listening that's like, well, I'm not a part of that community, or, tune out. I do think that like the idea of lifting other people up can be done anywhere and in any situation. I've been part of lots of groups and organizations, and I've had amazing experiences where it's been like euphoric and happy and joyous. And then I've been part of other situations where I haven't felt quite that way. And I think it is all about like people cheering for each other. Like, are they cheering for you, or are they tick for tacking? Like, it's such an easier way to be. I don't know. It's such an easier way to be. So I'm really proud of our community for sure. Lynn, if you had to give advice, if you had to say to somebody maybe that's off track right now, or doesn't, like, you're at the top of your game, right? Like you're dialed into the things that you want to do. You feel good. Next month might be totally different, Lynn. You might come to me and say, Kelly, I'm off. I'm in a funk. I don't feel like doing this. I get that all the time from my most successful students. People look at a lot of people in my workout community and they think, well, Sarah's got it all figured out, or Kathy's just a rock star, or they don't have to try. These people are constantly going up and down hills, and they're struggling, and but what I will say about them that I think is part of their long-term success is they're not afraid to reach out when they're struggling. They're not afraid to say like, I'm in a funk, or I just, Kelly, I need something different right now. Like, or look, they'll send me like, this is what I'm doing right now. Here's my workout. What do you think I should do? Or, it's just like, they ask us to do a program. They're like, I need an accountability program. When's Amy doing her next program? Or when's Gretchen doing her next program? They're not afraid to like put themselves out there when they need to help. Again, we're talking about a lot of our successes, but there's a lot of failures too. Like, people might sign up for a program and not actually do it, or not have the best experience, but that shouldn't stop you from doing something else. Right.
Right. Well, through failures, I mean, that's how we learn, right? That's the motto, but that truly is. Like, I don't feel like I would feel like I do now if I didn't have that gap. If I didn't, if I didn't get to kind of my worst, because the picture that I think you're going to share was my heaviest weight ever. Like, even before coming the first time, that was just, so failures are okay. That's just how we learn and then meet. But advice I give to someone who maybe is feeling like they aren't where they need to be or want to be is really, I think you kind of alluded to it, is really finding someone just that you can share that with. Whether it's within this community or outside the community. The tricky part is no one can make you do anything you don't want to do. So I had to get where I really wanted to. Like I knew I had to come back, but that's why I waited and I waited. And then just seeing like how great everyone looks and feels and acts, it motivated me because I stayed, I still followed everything.
We have a lot of those, Lynn. We have a lot of.
It was helpful. It was helpful. I mean, I had my first Team Chloe people to go back. I mean, Sylvie, one of my dearest friends, like I texted her. I'm like, I want to come back. She's like, when, what class do you want to go to? I'll meet you there. Like she has so many times and there's so many people. So whether it's in KBC or outside, try and find someone who can be that person for you to kind of help. Here's what I need. You know, it's so important that we talk to people or we don't feel isolated.
Now, I want you to share, Lynn, you told me you went back. Was it that same doctor that you went back to that suggested the weight loss medicine to you?
Yes. So, yes, because that was a year ago and you have to go annually. So went a couple weeks ago. And when I weighed in this time, she was very happy, very complimentary. I had lost 20 pounds. So she was like, wow, what'd you do? Asked me if I did the Wegovy. I said, no, absolutely not. And she's like, well, how'd you lose 20 pounds? I said, I did it the old school way. I worked out. I do Kelly's boot camp. And I just go 4 to 5 times a week and exercise. And she was so impressed. And she told me I was her greatest success story and very complimentary. But I left though. I was a little like, well, really her success story because she wanted to prescribe medicine.
Yeah.
But I knew I've been here before. I knew I could do this. So I'm very happy. She was very pleased. It's just unfortunate that wasn't the first thing that she recommended, like working out.
Yeah. But had you told her that you had that history where you used to work out? Because if I saw a woman in their 50s that like was struggling with their weight, and I might jump to the conclusion that she did and just think like she can't do it on her own. She's probably tried. I'm not defending her. I'm not defending her, but she doesn't know she doesn't know your real history, that you have a lot in you. But everybody has it in them. Honestly, everybody has it in them. They have to believe it. They have to believe it. It's all in their head. It's all in their head. It really is. And you did a lot of walking over the summer, right? Didn't you walk a lot? And that's a great place to start. Great place to start.
Definitely. Yeah. Just getting out there, moving, so important. Just for just getting outside, especially people working from home or maybe not currently working, like just getting out. So important. But walking every morning, walking the community. I love seeing, school kids going, school buses coming. I don't have little kids anymore. So seeing that action's fun. Yeah. Seeing the dog in the neighborhood. It's just good.
I love that. Yeah, I love that, Lynn. Okay. So let's wrap up with a time in your life that you feel like you started before you were ready.
Oh, definitely that first contest. Definitely the first contest. Okay. There were so many things I ran for the first time during that contest. Then
you guys ran the Army 10 miler, didn't you? I know Teresa did pregnant or nursing or...
Oh, the Army. Yes, she was nursing. I did the rock and roll half marathon, did a bunch of 5Ks. I did the South Riding triathlon. And all of that was because of that very first contest, because I had never run before. And Sylvie's like, oh, we're just going to go on a quick run. We ended up running 5 miles. A lot of it was run walk. It wasn't running the whole time, but that was, I think, just all of that was before I was ready.
What about when you guys won the, talk about the challenge, about the challenge, the 24-hour workout challenge, or
if there's a KBC dictionary, you know that our pictures are next to the 5 of us. Our pictures are there for crazy because we did a lot of crazy enough. Yeah, the 24-hour workouts, we had a block of time where we'd work out, middle of the night, all that we did.
They had to continuously work out, right? You couldn't have an hour of the day without somebody on your team working out. And there was only 5 people on your team. I think there was only 5 people on all the teams. So that was a really crazy challenge.
Yeah. We went to Lifetime a lot and swam because we were trying to introduce like just different exercises with swimming. Ran into Meg's husband, Barton, who was on another team. We were all competitive. What is he doing here? He keeps you doing other workouts too. We were so competitive. It's funny. Snowstorms would go, shovel the lot for extra exercise. We just did we went to the Weichert Realty. Was it Weichert? That big building.
Oh yeah. When you guys used to run. Oh, I totally forgot about that. You used to run the parking garage.
Yes. Indoor. It was indoor. So it sheltered us from snow or anything. So we'd run up the ramps, run down the stairs, run up the stairs, run down the ramps.
So funny. And this year you did the individual challenge and you crushed it. And you do very well in that structured environment. That's definitely you like that. Even though it was individual, you were very vocal in our group and was kind of a hoorah, like this is going great. I love it when people do that. I love when people like just kind of try to motivate other people because it is inspiring. I can say it till the cows come home, but then when another student says like, "Oh, I'm feeling great this week. I did this," it's like then they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, Lynn did that. Let me try to do that."
Yeah, it still felt very team-like, even though we were individual, but it wasn't like you had to do everything with your team. So it was very natural team feeling, which was great.
Yeah. I think keeping it fun is so important. I don't ever want to be like the fun foo-foo workout community. Like we're not serious because as you know, I'm very serious about exercise and I'm very serious about health and nutrition and fitness. But why can't it be fun? Why can't we do both? Why can't we make something that we want to be doing fun so we keep doing it, right? I think we do a really good job of that.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
I love it. Well, we're fun, right, Lynn?
Yes, we are.
We've come a long way. Lynn and I had soccer. We were soccer moms together. My son Cameron played with her son Patrick. He was a year younger, but I don't know. Rich somehow got him and Ryan to play up, and we had some really great experience as soccer moms.
What's funny is Dalton and Riley were on the very first soccer team that they ever played. I think they were probably 3 or 4, but we didn't know each other then. So I don't think
that's right. I think Andrew was the coach. Andrew or Rich or both.
Yes. I think it was Andrew. Andrew.
That is so funny. That is so funny. I do have that picture. We've had 2 kids on, and now we're on the same team. I like to think of my whole community as team. Like my team will come to my classes, the KBC instructors, and I'll say team. I'll be like to my class because I just have done that over the years because I want to be on a team again, and like I want to be competing for just the day and to win the day. And so I'll say, okay, team, come on, 3, and everyone's like all confused. They're like, wait, who's she talking to? But yeah, I really do think I do think of us all being on the same team. And that's why it's important. We cheer for each other and lift each other up. It was so fun talking to you, Lynn. I'm so glad that you are a boomerang and that you came back. I hope there's somebody out there that hears this, that maybe got out of their routine that they used to like. Maybe it was because of health. Maybe it was because of knees. Maybe it was because of COVID. And they just got off the routine somehow and they're struggling to get back on. I want you to reach out to me or reach out to Lynn. Lynn has it on her heart, actually, and she's going to do it because I'm going to make her, because I don't let people tell me an idea and not do it. She has it on her heart to help people that were feeling the way that she did, or feeling the way that she knows maybe some of her friends do. Like, I can't do this workout community, but I want to start doing something. She wants to kind of be that bridge. So if that speaks to you, reach out, let us know. This podcast is here to help people. It's here to serve. It's here to inspire. It's here to people to remember to start before you're ready, to put yourself out there. If Lynn didn't put herself out there for that contest, we might not be having this conversation right now. So thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Start Before You're Ready. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might need a little motivation. Ready to start your own journey? Check out our workouts and nutrition coaching programs at kellysbootcamp.net. You can choose from in-person sessions or virtual programs. Set up a complimentary coaching session to get started. Follow along with me and the show on social media at Kellys_bootcamp. Until next time, this is Kelly Young reminding you that the best time to start is always now.